Good morning, Wednesday morning, Garden of England. Bit of a smear in the air, but milder than yesterday. Dogs barking. What I'm going to talk about is obviously important. On you go. So, I don't know when you did your first course with me, your first MindStore course. Of course, if you've done a course, that is. But the very first one was at, it was in Ibrox Stadium. It was a business course. It was Thursday, Friday one week, followed by the Thursday, Friday of the following week. All 4 days, 9 o'clock till 6 o'clock at night. And it was the first one, and 15 people showed up. And if I remember right, I think it was £400 for each of the participants, way back then. A long time ago now. And I had no idea if the techniques would work. I had no idea if the concept of the river, the idea of the right bank of the river, the house with the red roof, what we called back then the editing suite. Didn't know if that shower would work, didn't know if the energising beam would work, didn't know if the big clock in the sleeping quarters would work either. There was a whole load of tools and techniques crammed into that programme. And yet the most important one of all came at the very end, and after 4 days full of stuff, you can imagine, we know from all the research we did, that final session went over most people's heads. And even when we get down to the 2-day version, the 9 to 5 version, over a weekend or over 2 days midweek for a business course, and we got to that last session, it just went over people's heads. And yet, way back in that first course, there was no such thing as an iPhone that I'm using to film me right now. There was no such thing as a YouTube channel. In fact, there was no such thing as the internet. And the world, how has it changed? My goodness. But to take the risk to do it, to take the risk of taking £400 off each of these business people and to introduce new concepts into the world, as it were. How did I get the confidence to do it? I did because I trusted the conversations with my inner coaches. And so what you know is, if you've watched the first interview with Kathleen Friedrichsen, then you know that the conversations with the coaches was critical to her, just like it is and was for Jim, who gave us the privilege of watching the video of his research into applying MindStore tools and techniques while attached to electroencephalograph. When I did that first course, I was yet to visit Stirling University to test out the electroencephalograph, but that came. I had not met the wonderful Kathleen yet, nor indeed Jim, but they showed up in due course, and off they went, using those tools and techniques, both of them making it quite clear that they're critical. And they're critical for you too. What's critical? What's critical is you getting into an alpha state every day of your life, to get into your alpha state, and then to have the imaginary conversations with those inner coaches about what you should do today, how to solve your challenges, how to approach a given situation, how to be your very best before you go into that meeting or event. So what are you going to do today? When are you going to have your appointment with your coaches? When are you going to have a chat with them? What are you going to chat about? How can they help you today? Well, of course, you might have the arrogance to say, well, I don't need them. My big left brain does it all. No, it doesn't. Never has and never will. That logical, sometimes arrogant left brain, which most of the rest of the world is running on, deprives the world of everybody's genius, deprives the world of the application of the gift he came here with. And that to me is so challenging. But what's happening now is that you're come back, as it were, you're watching this, you're thinking about what I'm saying. You know that if you take the time to just scan through the rest of the videos and playlists here on this YouTube channel, there's tons to keep you going. The interviews with Kathleen are like a callback. They're an ability for you to get a real refresher, to get right back into the tools and techniques, and to be truly inspired. and it's come at exactly the right moment. If you're watching this right now, then at a deeper level ask yourself why have I come back to this? And it's because obviously you're called to this. At some level of consciousness you need to hear these things that I'm doing every morning, and you need to really consider, if you haven't done it already, watching that first video interview with Kathleen, and then get ready for the second one, and oh my goodness, the third one, never mind what we'll do on the fourth one. It's just extraordinary. But again, I'm asking you, please imagine that this was all going on, all this help that's coming, me going off to start a recording this week of a new course, I'm currently editing a book, you know, all this stuff that's coming. What if you didn't know anything about it? Because for some reason or other, your Facebook page, your Facebook membership, or whatever we call that thing, for some reason I show up in your feed, or maybe you do watch YouTube and for some unknown reason, because it's unbelievable if it does, that I would show up there for you. Unless of course you're subscribed. But the truth of the matter is, there is loads and loads, there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of MindStore people who came to those courses, were inspired like Jim and Kathleen, have gone out and applied it in their lives, but they have no idea, there's a dog barking, they have no idea at all that I'm doing this, because it's not showing up in their feed. They might not even know that I'm available on something like Facebook. Facebook might not even appeal to them. LinkedIn, why would you? Twitter, well, what is it called now? X. Maybe people don't want to be involved in that either. I understand that. Maybe they've never gone to look at YouTube. But what if you could maybe humble yourself and think about the people you know? Don't assume they're getting this. Even those great MindStore people who come to courses regularly, there's a great chance that they have no idea that I'm doing this. Could you get in touch with them and let them know? Because I suspect, like you, they would be inspired to hear what Kathleen is talking about. They'd be inspired to know what happens in the next one, and certainly the third one. It could literally change their lives. It could bring them back on target. Anyway, have an amazing day. I intend to. What are you going to talk about with your coaches this morning? Have a great one. I'll see you, Ramora. Bye now.